Hey guys, it's Pierre here, and tonight I'm coming at you with episode number 97. And of course, we're only 3 episodes away from 100, so I know you're rejoicing with me that I'm actually meeting this challenge of 100 episodes in 100 days. And of course, if you've been with me, we've talked about many different topics. Of course, we've covered authority, finances, power, faith, and now, of course, we're talking about healing. And there's been other topics, so go ahead, check. I've actually made those 100 episodes. I've put them into one playlist, so it's easy to just go through the playlist and pick out whatever you want. But of course, throughout the time, I've also found episodes that are of interest to many of you. And I'll make sure as I continue beyond 100 days, when I'm just putting regular weekly episodes on, to focus on those and go deeper into those topics. So with that said, tonight, I want to talk to you about the faith of a blind man. And, we're talking about healing, and this is about still being healed by faith. But I want to bring to you, as I promised, different types of episodes, different types of testimonials. And tonight we're in Mark chapter 10, verses 46 to 52, and it has to do with blind Bartimaeus. I'm sure you've heard the story of blind Bartimaeus. Bartimaeus is the son of Timaeus, right? So again, here he is, Jesus is leaving Jericho with a crowd, and he starts yelling out to, when he knows that it was Jesus, he heard it was Jesus of Nazareth that was actually going by. He started yelling, "Jesus, son of David, have mercy on me." So he's a blind beggar. He's sitting by the roadside, but suddenly he starts to yell at the top of his lung. And of course, the crowd is telling him to shut up, and the disciples of Jesus are like, enough already. But then Jesus stops, turns around, and asks to have him come to him. So then they come to her and say, "Hey, look, Jesus is calling you." So immediately Bartimaeus threw off his coat. Now, in those times, the coat represented what the ailment was that you suffered. So you had to wear a certain coat, especially if you were leprous, right? You had to wear a type of coat that said you were a leper, right? So those things were very important in those times, because that's how you identified people. People identified with their sicknesses. And of course, unfortunately, today people still identify with their sickness. So now Bartimaeus goes to Jesus, and of course he's a blind man. So I think, there are certain things to be said about this story. Number one, he reaches Jesus, and Jesus asks him, "What do you want?" And I think many times we come to the Lord and we have a petition in our heart, but for some reason, religion has taught us, well, you can't ask him for all that. I had a friend who said, every time I pray, I told the Lord, well, I don't know if I really want that. I don't know if that can be done, right? Jesus identified, and he still does identify, what it is that we want. It's up to you to express your petition to the Lord, your supplications to the Lord. And you know what? He's merciful, he's gracious, that he will listen and grant it. Matter of fact, in the book of John, Jesus says, it is important from now on that you ask everything to the Father in my name, and I will do it so that the Father may be glorified in me. So Jesus understands that when we come to the Father asking for something, he will do it. He will do it. And so it's important here when you look at this interaction between the blind man and Jesus. Wait, Jesus, don't you see that the man is blind? Of course, Jesus recognizes that Bartimaeus is blind, but still, he is the Son of God. He is good in the sense that he knows he's only going to give you what it is you desire, what it is you want, right? And we could say, well, he needed to see, and so he told Jesus, I want to see. You see, it's got to be a desire, because as long as it's a need, so many times we can go without a need being filled. But when it's a desire, there is a force, there is a power behind it that pushes us to go and come out of our shell, because now we want it. It's become more than just a need. He needed vision, he needed sight, but now he got beyond needing it to wanting it. So Jesus asks him, "What do you want?" And he says, "To recover my sight. I want sight once again." And so the moment he asks for that, and this is in verse 51, that's where that interaction, that conversation takes place. Suddenly, Jesus told him, "Your faith has made you whole. And this is in verse 52 of Mark chapter 10. Jesus literally told the man, your faith has made you whole. And this is a word for you who's watching today. Your faith will make you whole. Your faith in the word, in the promise, knowing that Jesus is the word has a promise. When you put your faith in that word, it will manifest in your life. And of course, it is said that Bartimaeus followed Jesus with the crowd that was already leaving Jericho with Jesus. So now it's imperative that for us, when we find ourselves in that place where the word is available to us and we know Jesus is the healer, we're going to have to take him at his word. And if we take him at his word, there is nothing impossible. There are other examples like that in the scripture where Jesus tells the person that their faith has made them whole. And it is important for us to recognize that our faith is the one thing that the enemy of our soul is looking to steal from us, because he knows that faith overcomes all things. And the main thing that can destroy somebody's faith quicker than anything else is unbelief. Unbelief, of course, is the one thing, and I've talked about it in prior episodes, and maybe I should put a link up here to for those of you who want to actually read more about it. But the point is, unbelief, you can act like you're in faith, but if there is unbelief, there is doubt, as Mark 11:23 says, then you're not going to see the promise. And our fight, our good fight of faith, is a fight to remove unbelief from our lives, to remove unbelief and doubt from stopping us from reaching the promise and from receiving the promise as it is. So I hope this has helped you tonight. And of course, if you're here on YouTube, go ahead, like and subscribe. I have more videos like that to share with you. And more importantly, it's about your faith making you whole. But you're going to have to take that word until that word gets into your heart. And we're talking about until it changes the way you think, until you really can see yourself as the promise has spoken about you. It's Pierre Laguerre. I'll see you on the next video. And of course, thank you for sticking with me this long. I look forward to putting more videos out, and I'll see you on the next one. Enjoy.